This seemed like a good idea at the time, not so much now, because this could have went horribly wrong. Not that you guys can tell, but it's really muddy and mucky here, and the water in between these rocks is at least waist high. It's really deep here for some dumb reason, so the things I do for you crazy people.
July 1st, 2022, and we are in Jasper National Park this year because last year we were in Lake Louise to hike around Canada Day, but this time we came to check out a little valley called Fryatt Valley. And the last time that I came to Geraldine Lakes, I noticed this trailhead here and wondered where it went, and then realized it's like a 50-kilometer expedition. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So if you do go to Geraldine Lakes, you'll notice that there's a little opening right in here where a Fryatt Valley sign, and the parking lot here, it's not even a parking lot, it's more like a little strip. You might be able to squeeze 4 cars in here if you're lucky, but they've kind of cut some brush on the other side so you can fit a little bit more vehicles. So if you do come here with a group, just try to use one vehicle because it's not like there's a lot of places to park a car. 3 campgrounds along the way. There's the Lower Friat campground, which is around like 11-12 kilometers. And then there's the Brussels campground, which is another like 6-7 kilometers. So at the far other end, there's the Sydney Valence ACC Hut, which is the Alpine Club of Canada, and that's a good 22 kilometers from here. So we're starting on day 1, all the way out to the Lower Friat campground. We're gonna stay there for the night, and then we're gonna go up to the Brussels one, and then we're gonna explore that whole area and show you guys everything there is to see in the Fryatt Valley. All right, so now it's time to go on for a hike. Peace out.
The trail pretty much looks like this most of the way so far, up to the 5-kilometer mark. Just realized now that a lot of people will use mountain bikes to get this portion. The first 12 kilometers, the Lower Friat campground, you could just take a mountain bike. The 9.5-kilometer mark, where you were really close, less than an hour's hike to the Fryatt Valley. We reach wonderful
So once you reach the lower Friat campground, if you're looking for some fresh water, well, right here is the best place to go. And while you're getting water, the campground is right over there, and you can prep your food. There's bear lockers back there, and there's everything that you need to make some food here. There's no real reason to carry too much water if you come down on the Fryatt Valley, because the water here is available almost everywhere. And behind me here you can see a gorgeous view of Mount Christie as you come and replenish your water supplies at the creek. And there's this cool little bridge that they built here, I don't know how long ago. So that's the bridge that you keep on going to go up to the Brussels campground, and we'll be heading out there tomorrow and showing you guys what that looks like. Loving the breeze in the creek. Can't go wrong there. Peace out, everybody. Just over 3.5 kilometers in to the trail that follows the Friat Creek. But the Friat Creek, unfortunately for us, the trail and the creek aren't really side by side. They're way down there, and as we gain in elevation, we're going away from the creek a little bit. There's actually a hidden lake off of this creek back in there. It would require quite a bit of bushwhacking just to find this little tiny lake. And there's actually quite a bit of these little creeks all along the way. Some of them, which is actually quite neat, is that you can walk over top of a creek that's crossing the path, and the roots and the dirt are just hanging there, and you can hear the water. And you can see just in front of me here, there's actually a chunk of this creek here that's completely underneath the trail, and you're walking over top of it. And there's a lot of change in these areas from season to season. Some creeks, little areas will dry up depending on how it gets affected further up, and then they'll dry up, and then it'll create new ones, and so it's a never-ending cycle of erosion. If you see at the back over there, that one there, there's a little bit of water, but you can tell that there used to be quite a bit of water flowing back there, and there's nothing anymore. So long story short, there's quite a bit of creeks that come across between the lower Friat campground and the Brussels campground. So if you do want water, you can stop along the way and filter it. My system of filtering requires a little bit more time consuming, so I tend to just pack the water in that I need from segment A to segment B and then do my filtering in between. So So we're around the 1.5 kilometer mark away from the Brussels campground. And then we found this very intricate little bridge to cross the creek. It's quite the, it's quite the nifty little bridge. I would not be crossing this on foot. It'd be quite tricky to find a spot to cross here. Finally, this might be the first decent view of the whole trip. You can actually see the head wall. You can barely see that from here. That is the Sydney Valence hut is on top of that wall. Once we get to the Brussels camp, we kind of move away from these trees and we're going to be on the other side of the river. So it'll be a nicer view. And now you got a slight view of the backside here of the valley, the mountain ranges on the other side of the Athabasca River. Not a place to go swimming, really not. Force of nature. All right, so let's keep on hiking, guys. Peace out. you're not too much in a hurry to get up to the hut and the lake at the very end of Fryatt Valley, there's all of these little spots you can come and check out. And this is one of them in behind me here, where I'm standing on top of this massive boulder. You can see Brussels Peak at the far side over there, and you can see this gorgeous little horsetail waterfall coming all the way back down from there. It's quite the neat little view. From further back, you have a nicer view because there's like a nice start of a dovetail waterfall where it's all equal at the very back, but you can't even see it from here. You can only see it if you're further back. So there's a bunch of different little waterfalls and such all along this canyon. So we're gonna go explore this out today. All right, so now let's keep on hiking. Peace out, everyone. on the other side of the valley. And you can see behind me there that you got a way better view of Brestle Peak and Mount Lowell. I came onto the other side of the valley for a reason, because as you guys can hear in front of me, I got a gigantic waterfall right in front of me. So this waterfall is about half a kilometer up the valley from the Brussels campground, which is down there. And then when you climb up this kind of set of boulders, and then there's more down there. We're gonna go check these all out because this is really cool stuff here. But you can see these gorgeous little waterfalls here. Isn't that neat? So yeah, I'm gonna sneak in here and show you guys a little better shots all around of all of these waterfalls all along this ridge here. Down there. I'm right in the middle of it and getting all wet for you guys to have a good view of these waterfalls. Split all over the place here. There's not just like one waterfall, there's multiple little ones all over the place. But it seems like it rolls down and it keeps going and it keeps going. So we're gonna venture up the backside of this one here. It's a good thing I have waterproof boots with gaiters. It stops the water from getting in. The second ridge also just lands of a million waterfalls. As you can see on the backside there, it kind of sleeks down. And even when you turn around, same thing, it goes for a good like 50 meters or so, maybe 100 meters of just rows upon rows of waterfalls. So there's even a flat spot at the far back. Not too sure if we can get up there, but I'm gonna try to crawl up here. And from there we'll see. I think there's probably more because this is just like a pass in between these two mountains. So the water is just melting and coming down and just making its own way all the way down to the Fryatt Valley. Did a traverse across the front of this and we ended up on top of this big rocher. Basically, it's just like all stone slab all the way up here, and the creek's flowing down here, and it seems like you can go up this creek for a long ways. I don't know if we have enough time for this today, but I'm glad we found this. Quite the drop off down at the bottom, and you can tell that the water's eroded these nice curves. It's been eroding a channel down these rocks for several thousand years is my guess. You can see behind me there, this is the view of the creek. You got a wonderful view of these rapids down here. They're cutting and churning holes through the side of this creek. And you can even see these gigantic boulders at the back there. Pretty crazy view. Pretty crazy view. And it seems like you could go up that creek and I can see more tiny horsetail waterfalls at the far back coming down off that rock face. We're gonna come back down because it's getting late. We need enough time to get back to camp. The camp is not that far away from here, but you have to keep in mind if you're bouldering and going up in elevation, it takes you a while to get back down. When you come back down from those giant step waterfalls back in there, you can tell that these waterfalls and stuff have created erosion, and there's a lot of rocks and boulders that lead all the way back down to the Fryatt Valley down there, and the creek stays on the far bottom side of the valley. And somebody created these massive gates here to show you the beginning of the lake that's just at the front of the head wall. So this is the first view that you get of the lake at the bottom and the head wall that's right in behind us there. So the Sydney Valence Hut is actually on top of those waterfalls over there. So we're gonna keep hiking down and we're gonna get to the top. And this is day 3, by the way, of our exploration of Fryatt Valley. So let's keep on hiking. Peace out.
Guess this is a common occurrence around here. This is several kilometers past Brussels campground. They climb trees really good. They eat a lot of the bark. They like the pine bark. He was on the trail, and then when he seen us, he bolted towards the first tree. Sorry, buddy, we're leaving. Bye-bye. Run to the trees. Run for your life. It's the second one we've seen. Just bolt up. Run away. arrived to the hut, it makes like this natural little pool of water. And if you're not too afraid of the cold, you could swim in this. I'm not gonna. So I have a feeling the water temperature is probably around 1, 2, maybe 3 Celsius. But obviously, very pretty spot.
We made it to the top of the headwall here in Fryatt Valley. You can't find a more peaceful place today, that's for darn sure. It's just nice, calm, quiet. This is where all the water pools down. The 360 view, probably less surprising on that side, but and behind me here, you can see all of the cool mountains. There's also a few small glaciers at the far back that are probably contributing to the water here a little bit anyways. Today is one of our last days up here, so we're gonna start heading all the way back, so we have a good 22 kilometers to get back to the Jeep. If you go past the ACC Hut at the top and you want to get to the second lake at the very far back of the valley, you'll hit inside kind of a little meadow, and there's like kind of a difficult creek crossing, and then you get into this really muddy meadow, and there's a defined path, but it might be super muddy, so you might have to crisscross around. Then you get to this open spot and you think that you're here, but this is kind of like a second small head wall, and you hug the rock wall. If you go towards the river, you're gonna have to end up backtracking like what we just did here, and you can see the cairns. You can see there's a gigantic one in behind me right there. And I can see from here, from the top, obviously I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6 cairns to mark you the way. So let's keep going on the other side, and we have a nice little tiny lake at the very end of the Fryatt Valley. You wanted snow in July? There you have it. There's more snow than what I'm standing on here that was on my entire front lawn in Whitecourt, Alberta, all winter long. And that says a lot because I live on a corner lot, so I have a big front lawn. This is crazy. We found more snow, and we found the bank of a gorgeous little lake. I'm going to see if I can get here safely without stepping into the crux on this rock here. Yeah. Well, there you go. This is the famous little lake at the end of Fryatt Valley. And we're the 3rd of July today, and there's tons of snow all over the place. There's still tons of snow in all of the crux and crevasses all over the place here. I'm gonna show you guys a panoramic of this whole place here for your enjoyment right now. Well, this is the end of Fryatt Valley. And I'm Eric Tremblay, and these are my adventures. Peace out.